Movie posters are designed to tell a story within seconds. Some go on to become cultural icons, while others fall short. In today's video, I put together my top 10 favourite movie posters of all time, but with a twist. I'm going to be ranking them within the S to F tier system, seeing which legendary posters deserve the top spot and which others are at the bottom. Now, let's get on with it. Now, for those that don't know, my name is Sam and I work as a freelance illustrator here in the UK, and I've worked with multiple different galleries and film studios on film related artwork, and I've been studying poster art for the past 10 years. But in this video, I'm going to be breaking down each poster based on clarity, composition, typography and storytelling, and whether these posters deliver on design and the marketing. Now, let's get into it. Okay, so for our first one, we have Jaws from 1975, one of the most iconic movie posters of all time. Now, this is, without a doubt, one of the most effective posters ever made. It's, I'd say, a masterclass in using scale and negative space. At the very top, there's a small carefree swimmer. Below, an impossibly huge shark, rising up, jaws wide open, cutting through the vast emptiness of the ocean. You know, the contrast instantly communicates the danger. The design literally drags your eye downward from the bold red title at the top to the swimmer to the shark. There's that hierarchy there. Red here is crucial as it signals the blood, urgency and fear. The font is heavy, solid, like it's carved out of stone. Everything about this design screams menace from the predator, from the shark, the main antagonist of this film. What's genius, I'd say, is the restraint. It's one image and one idea, executed flawlessly. It tells you everything about the movie without showing any gore, without spoiling anything. It's burned into our pop culture minds forever. So I'd say it goes without saying, this is just straight up S tier, no debate. For our next poster, we have Star Wars A New Hope from 1977. Now, this poster is legendary. Like, for its pop art style, I love it, but as a piece of design, personally, it's not perfect. Luke Skywalker is posed like a Greek statue, you know, lightsaber raised to the heavens, Leia is draped by his side, Vader's a giant head that looms behind him, the ships, explosions fill in the background. It's a spectacle, it's operatic, and it communicates myth. It's communicating that adventure and that heroicism within the film. But to me, it just feels a bit too busy. There's no single focal point, your eye bounces around trying to take in all the elements. It feels more like a painted collage than a clear, unified concept. It's more like an art piece rather than a piece of design. Compared to the direct simplicity of, say, Jaws that we just looked at, this takes more work to kind of decode. The hierarchy isn't quite there. The typography, however, I'd say is a triumph. Its blocky, futuristic logo became timeless. I think it has like minimal changes over the decades. You know, without that, this poster would feel like just another 70s sci-fi illustration. So it pushes the boundary slightly. Because of that balance, iconic, it's messy in execution, but I'm putting in the B tier. I feel that's adequate. Next up, we have Pulp Fiction from 1994. Right, this poster, I'd say, oozes personality. You have Uma Thurman lying on the bed, cigarette in hand, gun casually next to her, framed by a fake pulp magazine cover. It's not just a poster, it's branding from Tarantino's entire style, from the retro, iconic, pop culture soaked film that it is. The fake creases and the 10 cents price tag detail and texture, making this poster itself feel like a piece of vintage collector's item. The bold yellow typography across the top cuts through the reds and blues perfectly. I mean, it's brash, stylish, unapologetic, just like the tone of the film, and that's synonymous with Tarantino style. Where it stumbles, I'd say slightly, is the accessibility. I mean, if you're familiar with Tarantino, this design might confuse you. Is it a parody? Is it noir? But for anyone in the know, it nails the tone once you've seen the film, or if you've already seen the film. It's clever, memorable, it fits the film, and for that, I'll put it in A tier. Next up, another iconic film, The Silence of the Lambs, 1991. This is one of the most studied posters in design schools. I believe even remember looking into this when I was in university. It's elegant and eerie, a stark face on the black background with a death stare, head moth covering the mouth. The moth itself carries symbolism. The skull pattern hints at death, silence, and transformation. There's a lot of symbolic references there. From a design perspective, it's restrained and haunting, but the problem I have with it is that it doesn't sell the film to a broad audience. If you've never heard of Silence of the Lambs, this image doesn't communicate serial killers, like the psychological tension or the intensity of the story. So it communicates the mood, but not much else. So while it is a brilliant piece of symbolic design, as a marketing poster, it's quite vague. And that's why I feel it belongs within the C tier. It works beautifully as art, less so as advertising. Next up, another one of my favourite films, Jurassic Park, 1993. This is, I'd say, again personally, branding genius. No characters, no actions, no dinosaurs in sight. Just a black background and a logo. The skeletal dinosaur inside a red and yellow badge, it's bold, graphic, and unforgettable. I'd say the brilliance in it is what is not shown. By hiding the dinosaurs, the poster creates a mystery and intrigue. I'd say it lets your imagination do the work, and because the logo was so strong, it became universal branding for the whole franchise. It invited you in to discover more. Having that minimal design, the use of negative space, so you're just focused on the logo and the design within it, that skeletal figure, it wants you to discover more, it's inviting you to come and watch the film, find out more for yourself and go on that journey. I'd say most studios would have insisted on spectacle, especially around this time. They'd want to put in everything that they can within the poster to try and sell you tickets to the film. Like the roaring dinosaurs, screaming characters, pretty much what the modern day Jurassic World posters are. But Spielberg's team, I believe they trusted the simplicity, and I believe that's why the Jurassic Park poster isn't this good. It's one of the smartest movie posters in terms of marketing I've seen, and for that, I'd say it belongs in S tier. Next up is The Dark Knight. Now, this poster is striking. The flaming bat symbol turned into a skyscraper, Batman standing in shadow, the colour palette of the cool blues and the fiery orange. It captures the dark, gritty intensity of Nolan's Gotham. I mean, I remember first seeing this poster and I was just immediately drawn into that world and that danger and the spectacle that it's delivering within the poster and capturing that brilliantly that's in the film. But to be honest, it's less a poster and more of a promotional, I'd call it wallpaper. There's no clever idea, no design wit. It tells you this is dark and it's epic, but it doesn't give you the story. It's not telling you what the film is about. It's atmospheric, pure and simple. It's setting the tone, but not necessarily what to kind of expect from the film. So It's effective, people remember it, I clearly do, but compared to posters like Jaws or even Back to the Future, we'll get into a little bit, it doesn't live up as an icon of design. And that's why I feel like it deserves to be in B tier. Strong, but not timeless. Next up, we have Titanic from 1997. This is where we dip into, I'd say, well, I hate to say it, mediocrity. Titanic's poster is remembered because the film was a global phenomenon, not because of its design. Now, as I look at it, like, what do we have? The floating heads of Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, tenderly posed above the ship. Soft romantic light, pastel colours in the clouds, the whole thing looking like a greeting card. So the problem here, I'd say, is the clarity. It doesn't tell you scale, it doesn't tell you danger, it doesn't tell you the epic disaster that you know is coming. It's trying to sell you this romantic story without telling you the end result, which we all know is going to happen. It tells you, quite simply, it's romance and there's a ship. It's minimal in regard to design, but minimal and also not telling you what is going to happen. I'd say, compared to Jaws or Jurassic Park, where one bold image sells the entire movie, Titanic's poster, it just feels a bit generic, with the whole floating heads and the simple imagery. It just doesn't scream timeless to me, or bold design. And to be harsh, I'd say it hasn't aged well. It seems too safe and too unmemorable. And typical of 90s romance marketing with the floating heads, pastel colours. That's why I feel like it belongs within the D tier system. Legendary movie, phenomenal movie, but forgettable poster. Now, another one of my favourite films, Back to the Future, 1985. This is one of the most dynamic posters ever made, in my opinion. Mike McFly caught mid-stride, looking at his watch in shock while the DeLorean blazes trails of light behind him. In one frame you understand time travel, action and adventure. The composition is energetic, the diagonal lines pull you into the image, the fiery glow adds excitement, and the typography, that angled, kind of colourful Back to the Future logo, is perfectly matched with the energy of the imagery. It looks fast, futuristic and fun. This post doesn't just advertise a movie. As I was saying with the Titanic poster, it makes you want to be part of the adventure. It's marketing that makes you feel something. It's inviting you on that journey to discover more. Similar to the Jurassic World poster as well. Or Jurassic Park, sorry. So, for this, I'd say it feels about right to put it in the S tier. Now, a film that I was terrified when I was younger, The Thing from 1982. This is one of my, well, now personal favourites of a horror film, not so much when I was a kid. But let's be objective with this. The glowing, obscured figure with light pouring from his head is haunting and mysterious. I'd say even the imagery is just, it encapsulates the horror of the film, that cosmic horror. It communicates paranoia and the unknown, which is perfect for the film's themes. Now, I'd say, as a mainstream marketing poster, similar to Silence of the Lambs, it's a bit vague. It doesn't tell you that there's aliens, there's isolation, or even horror outright. If you weren't already intrigued, this image might not pull you in. It's more of a cult than commercial. So while I admire that it's deeply as artwork, it doesn't do the same marketing heavy lifting as something like Jaws. I'd say it's close, personally, but that's why I'd say I'm going to put it in A tier. Well, this is a classic film, Vertigo from 1958. Now, you might not be aware, but this was designed by the legendary Saul Bass, and Vertigo is proof that he was a genius in the way he approached design. It's a dazzling spiral, stark black and white, figures falling into the center, bold typography, and that shocking orange background that just instantly grabs your attention. It's graphic design, but as pure communication. It communicates the dizziness of vertigo, the danger and obsession, the themes of the film, without needing faces or spectacle. The design is so strong it stands as art even outside the movie context. Again, maybe I keep referencing Jurassic Park, but it's relying on the design itself to invite you into the film, not on the actors or the floating heads. It stands on its own, and it's the only reason I guess I can put this in the S tier as well, because of its accessibility. For general audiences, the abstract style, that it can feel distinct and distant, but for design, I'd say it's a masterpiece, a solid A tier. So here's my final tier list. We have in the S tier, Jaws, Jurassic Park and Back to the Future. A tier, Pulp Fiction, Vertigo and The Thing. B tier, Star Wars and The Dark Knight. S tier, Silence of the Lambs. D tier, unfortunately, Titanic. And to me, I'd say this feels about right. The best posters are bold and unforgettable. The weaker ones, either too vague, too cluttered, or they just play it too safe. Alright, those are my rankings for the top 10 movie posters that I feel are iconic. But I want to know kind of what do you think? Do you think the Star Wars poster is underrated, overrated? Do you think I was too harsh on Titanic? And drop your rankings in the comments, and I'll feature some of your picks in part 2, hopefully. And with that, that's another video. Thank you for watching. If you made it to the end, please go back and watch any other videos. And please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. And I'll see you in the next one.